All right, Forex market update. Let's get into it. We'll start with gold. What are we on? USD CHF. Let's go from the top. Gold. Well, we've mitigated demand perfectly, or just thereabouts. So I'm no longer looking at this demand POI. I would borderline classify this as a range, given we've come up, but I'm going to leave this as is. I'm not going to rush to remove this range, but just know that we have come quite deep within this DL limit. It's still available, like it's still valid. It's very much so valid. You can see we've only wicked it, so just be mindful of that, but I just want cleaner range behavior right now. I want us to come quite deeper into the range and then hover here for a bit and then eventually create that, third tap POI and move up should we get it. But for now, yeah, for now we're still bearish. Are we bearish on the 4 hour now? Yes, we are. Yep, so the 4 hour has also switched to bearish for the time being. And then the daily is also bearish. So yeah, like I wouldn't really be looking to accumulate just yet. What's the weekly saying? Weekly is for now bearish, but obviously we're getting close to that weekly low. So yeah, I'll just be very cautious with any form of accumulations here. If I can catch a distribution, I would much rather favor the distribution model as opposed to the accumulation. Yeah, it's kind of all been mitigated. So yeah, for gold at the moment, not a whole lot to do. Just be patient and let this price action play out. Silver, on the other hand, it looks a little bit different to me. I can see somewhat of a range here. FY, we have also transitioned to bullish on the hour for silver. Yes, there is liquidity below, as we are aware, but we have broken structure on the hourly, so this could be interesting. On the 3 hour, still bearish. Yeah, everything else remains bearish. Even the 2 hour remains bearish. What POIs do we have up here? Or down here? Yeah, so this is going to be my extreme liquidity. It's kind of the only legitimate extreme liquidity POI. I have a feeling that Asia lows are going to be below us. Yes. So ideally, this is a Model 1. Although we have already grabbed Asia highs, which is not something I'm too fond of. As we can see here, we've grabbed Asia highs, so Model 1 is preferred here. And yeah, we do have our extreme liquidity POI right here. Boom. Okay, so we've got our POIs here. If we can get, maybe. Not really. Ideally, we get a confirmation sometime tomorrow evening for this range. Like range length is about. I'd say it's been going for a bit. Yeah, it's almost a 6-day range. So, ideally, I'd like to see this play out tomorrow, maybe even the day after. Definitely wouldn't want to get any sort of confirmations today. It's quite early on for a confirmation at the moment. I would want price to move around a little bit more. But yeah, for now we've just shifted to bullish on the hourly on silver. So let's see what happens. Yes, there's obviously demand below and liquidity, but if we get the confirmations, I'm more than happy to enter this, especially if the hour is still bullish. Then obviously if we transition to bullish on, we can't really transition to bullish on the 3 hour until the range is completed, and probably the same on the 4. Yeah, so it's only the hourly that we can monitor for a change in structure. Even the 2 hour as well. It's not really, there's no real 2 hour market structure until the range high. So yeah, I'll need the hourly to stay bullish for me to consider an accumulation model here. But yeah, model 1 is preferred. So ideally, we do something like this, come back down, sweep, boom, break. And then we can long that shit. But yeah, that is silver for now. So let's see what price does. Oil expanding quite a bit. It has ran through all supply POIs. But it has left demand in the meantime, which showcases me that we are still quite bullish across the board on oil at the moment. So as much as we might be forming some sort of distribution here, I wouldn't be paying too much attention on it. Let's wait until we hit this supply, and then obviously if we do come back and we're still bullish, then we can look for accumulations in this demand area here. So that is it for oil. Now let's move on to AUD USD. So obviously we still have this confirmed model, which never hit the Asia high. That was our market structure low, which I think got broken back to bullish. Bearish. Yeah, 4 hour is bearish. Is the hourly bearish? That's my question. Yes, it is. So yeah, this is looking quite good for the distribution. So if you have taken this distribution, there is no reason for you to. There's no reason for you to de-risk. Just stay in the trade. I expect the technical target of the range low to get hit. So yeah, let's see what happens. Nothing from a local perspective. I'm not really interested in anything at the moment. We even had a very local distribution here, taking out Asia high. Really nice. Really, really nice. But yeah, let's just leave AUD USD as is. USD CHF. Well, we still have these lows. Well, hourly is obviously bullish. Yeah, everything is bullish here. Absolutely everything is bullish. Given everything is bullish, look, maybe there can be some exhaustion. This is a very counter context distribution model because, as I've said, everything is bullish. So let's see what price does. Got some form of demand in here. Wrong icon there. And we probably have some overlapping demand, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so I'm no longer putting any emphasis on this demand zone as a whole because, as you can see, it has been mitigated on the lower time frame, so it's not as valid to us anymore. Therefore, yeah, this just is not valid demand. It's that simple. And then that isn't really valid. Nor is that. So yeah, not necessarily valid demand here. Trying to see what else can I gather from this. There's not really a whole lot. Maybe we get a local model later on. Very, very local model. Asia lows are the ranged low, which is the only reason why I do see any sort of potential in this. And then yeah, Asia highs are range high. So kind of anything can really happen here. But yeah, it's just such a counter context trade this is, and it's lower time frame as well. So honestly, expectation, order flow is just higher lows for higher highs. That's really it. And then this range itself has been going on for... Okay, it's not the worst, 7 hours. Maybe we get some form of distribution. Just temporarily. Grabbing Asia highs and then in New York just pumping it down and grabbing those Asia lows. So let's see how this... yeah, let's see how this plays out. Like even to the left of the chart, there's just nothing really. Like we've kind of grabbed everything. We've kind of grabbed everything there was to grab. And yeah, like the range is in an awkward spot. So yeah, let's just see how price develops. AUD CHF. Well, this is looking good. Ran through everything. And I've also okay, this is still there. So the daily is bearish allegedly. Yeah, still bearish. Still bearish. And everything else is still bullish. So the only thing I would be looking to do is a potential temporary distribution model, but I'm not seeing anything at the moment. I am really not seeing anything at the moment. So yeah, from AUD CHF, not a whole lot to do just yet. So we will keep the ball rolling. Well, NZD CAD's looking interesting. It has a little crappy distribution model there. Valid range. So we could be quite close to breaking to bullish. So we'll see how the daily close occurs. Yeah, this is honestly a very good spot for a rejection. We also got liquidity below us, which is nice to see. So for now, we're still bearish on the daily. On the 4 hour, we are still bullish. Very much so, still bullish on the 4 hour. Maybe this would be a POI. It might not even be valid. Plus, it's also at the range low, so you've got to keep that in mind as well. So when demands are at range lows, they're not as useful because price normally does hunt that range low or range high, depending on whether it's an accumulation or distribution. So yeah, just given the fact that the demand is where it is, and it's also being mitigated ever so slightly, I'm not going to put that much importance on it. Like this is valid demand. So we'll see if we can get somewhat of a mitigation of this, and then a push back up. Otherwise, yeah, everything else is quite bearish. So even with this demand here, I'm willing to try a potential short later, whether it's later in the day or tomorrow. Valid supply POI for the time being, or at least at first glance, but we're going to always double check and see just how useful this POI is. Yeah, pretty clean. Looks pretty clean to me. Yeah, that's valid. Then in terms of sessions, honestly, I don't mind this. I actually don't mind this at all. There's our Asia low, looking really, really good. So yeah, this could honestly be quite nice if we get the mitigation and a good break, it's all about the quality break, then I'm willing to, honestly willing to take a shot on this. Ideally though, is we mitigate some of this demand. And then we come back up, boom, boom. That would be quality. So let's see how and what price does. Obviously, low time frame is still bullish, so just keep that in mind. But high time frame is bearish, and we are at quite a bit of an inroad here, where this is not only a daily market structure high. Okay, no, it is a daily because, yep, boom, boom. We broke structure there to bearish. So yeah, daily high. Daily high is here. Technically, the daily high is actually here now. But even so, even with this daily candle closure, we can still expect a pullback. So yeah, we'll see how price closes here and what it does. So we can move NZD CAD to the top of the list. This will be today's, at least for now, today's main pair that we're going to be watching. GBP NZD. Well, we ran through everything here. Bearish, bearish, yes. Leaving supply above as well. Mitigating demand. Daily still bullish. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's it for GBP NZD. Let's keep the ball rolling. And this looks bearish as well. Euro NZD. Just gonna stand up. Daily, is that still bullish? Okay, so daily has now just moved to bearish. There's our low here, which got broken. And then what about the weekly? Okay, weekly is still bullish. So we are bearish on the daily. But yeah, at least from a local perspective, not a whole lot that I'm too interested in. We've probably left behind some supply there. Even this has kind of been mitigated on the lower time frame. It's just not that clean. So yeah, we'll let price develop a bit more. Not a whole lot to do at the moment. Euro GBP. There's a few things happening here. Okay, daily. Daily is very much so bearish. We are approaching heavy demand below, so I wouldn't be rushing anything just yet. The 4 hour is still bearish, very much so. And you do have liquidity here, quite nice, quite nicely set up. Wickless candle as well. Look, I would definitely say keep your eyes peeled for a distribution. Whether this distributes here, it could be a bit too early to find out. Oh, it is too early, but I kind of look, we'll see. I kind of have a feeling the price is going to continue going lower, but let's see. Asia lows already been grabbed. Asia high probably get grabbed as well. Yeah, let's give this needs a bit more time to develop. All right, USD CAD. This is just bearish all around. Not a whole lot I want to do just yet. Obviously we're bearish on the hour. Bearish on the 4. Yeah, still bullish on the daily, so. But locally speaking, there's not really a whole lot that I'm interested in. So if this demand actually gets tapped, this is going to be interesting. What was this valid on in the first place? This would have had to be something like crazy local. Okay, it's a 15-minute OBIF. There you go. There you go. $15-minute OBIF. But look at, unless this becomes a wick, look how powerful this candle is. So I'm not expecting to accumulate here, but I'll draw my range just in case. We'll see. In terms of sessions, yeah, Asia high is above. All right, let's have a look at GBP AUD. Yeah, this remains as is. GBP AUD. Yeah, still bullish. Still very much so bullish. I have a feeling we might be ending up looking to accumulate here, and we might have to redraw our range. Still bullish on the 4 hour, that's fine. We might have a little demand POI there. Let's have a look at USD CAD. Yeah, not a whole lot to do here. This needs a bit more time. And yeah, we are still bullish for now on the hourly. So yeah, let's see how this plays out. Maybe we can scalp something here. Don't necessarily mind this. Let's just be a bit patient and see what price does. Asia highs here, which I like. We do have a little 15-minute OBIF here. Pretty close to mitigating that demand as well. And then nothing really else here except for liquidity. So this could actually be, we could be in favor of a potential local accumulation scalp here for the day. So let's see how we let's see how this plays out. You know, we'll move GBP towards the top 4 now. Let's have a look at Euro. Yeah, still very much so bearish. Still bearish across everything here. Asia low is below. We've got supply in here. The only thing I can sort of see is maybe a scalp here. Like so. If that's all been mitigated. Yeah, that's kind of it, really. Yeah, 4-hour range needs quite a bit more time, but we'll move this to 3rd place. But for now, it looks all right. Don't really mind the price action. bearish across the board, so can definitely expect lower. USD CAD, had a look at this. USD JPY, bullish on the daily, yes. Bearish on the 4 hour, yes. Bullish on the 2 hour for now, on the 1 hour, sorry. And then on the 2 hour, bullish on the 2 hour as well. Okay, so you have broken structure on the 1 hour and the 2. So we might continue going higher, but once again, just the location of this range I'm not too fond of, so I don't really want to give much attention to it. Price needs a bit more time to develop. I'm going to focus on higher probability models. GBP USD, still quite bearish on the hour, and then on the 4 hour, still bullish. Still bullish. And then yeah, for now, still bearish on the daily. But locally, I'm not too interested in any of the price action at the moment. So we will see what happens. GBP JPY. Don't need this demand POI anymore. Still bullish on the daily. Still bullish on the 4 hour. Still bullish on the 1 hour as well. Yeah, that's valid. We're overall bullish. Yeah, not a whole lot to, nothing of interest at the moment for GBP JPY. Just gonna give this more time. Once again, I'm just here looking for clean models, guys. I'm not gonna overcomplicate anything. Well, we've made our first deviation, but have a look at the liquidity that's built here. Crazy liquidity. Does this, okay. And yeah, we are still bearish here, so let's give this a bit more time and see how it plays out. But if anything, I prefer a model 1 here, just with the liquidity that is below. But I do need price to come back into the range a little bit more beforehand, but we can move this a little up the rankings. Yeah, honestly, other than that, that's kind of it. Yeah, that is it for today, guys. So to summarize, yeah, keep an eye out on AUD CAD. Keep an eye out on silver. Silver's looking really, really good. Don't mind how it's shaping up quite nicely, if I say so myself. And then yeah, in terms of Forex, biggest one that we're watching is this NZD CAD play. It looks quite nice. Then on that, we've also got GBP AUD, which isn't really the cleanest, and then yeah, Euro USD as well, which isn't really the cleanest, but yeah, NZD CAD and silver. Keep an eye on them. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, for viewing. Subscribe if you made it this far. Hope you found a bit of value in this, and yeah, I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.